Hello everyone, we're here with Helloween to talk about their upcoming album. And I just listened to it and, well, I really enjoyed it, so I have a few questions about it.
Shoot.
Well, first of all, it's been 15 albums in 30 years. You are keeping a great pace. Don't you ever feel tired, or not tired of playing, but exhausted from the great output you keep?
There's always a new day, and if one day is kind of hard, you just stay in bed.
All right.
Somehow what sleep can do. When we started this, we're on a promo tour right now. We're doing many interviews for like 12 days or 13. And when we started, the first 2 days they were kind of heavy because we were sleeping in intervals of like 2 or 3 hours.
All right.
On the plane or in the hotel bed. Sometimes because of the schedule, it was only possible that you could stay in the hotel for 3 hours. Sleep, right?
Okay.
Actually, you need some time to wake up, get dressed, wash yourself, brush your teeth, do your hair, and do your makeup. No.
Okay.
And now we decided not to wash ourselves because it's only eating too much time. So
Really?
we're stinky, but the good thing is you don't smell it.
All right. Well, don't you ever feel trapped in a tour album cycle that so many bands hate?
But we already interrupted it. Like a few years ago, we decided to make 1 year break, which was good. Nevertheless, I always tend to say, look, I mean, we started it because it was a hobby. Everybody starts like playing his guitar because out of hobby reasons. Nobody's forced to play guitar, So from that point of view, you still are a hobbyist. So you collect your ideas, and this is still without any responsibility, sitting on your sofa and diddling and fiddling on your guitar until you have this and that much ideas and fragments. That's the fun part. So this is something you will never stop anyway. And then the day comes when everybody meets and you like pick out the gems and try to do an album. That's where the work starts.
All right.
And it's always a matter of attitude. When you're psychotic and everything comes heavy to you or whatever, I mean, just think about what other people, like the small scale heroes we talk about in Hero, what they have to do, in order to make a living.
And compare it with the shit we do.
Yeah, and then complain about your life, So it's a matter of attitude.
Yeah, that would be like shitting in God's face, so to say,
You couldn't explain it better. But well, just the other day I read about Def Leppard saying that they could go on tour forever without ever feeling the need, either the fans feeling the need for new music.
Yeah,
so
they're a different breed. You can guess, they like to play the rock and roll guitar they do, and you hear it from their song material. It's a different thing than Helloween is. Ours is a little bit more stressy because it's also faster and more detailed and whatever. For instance, I like to listen to soil work a lot, but I can tell you, I sure don't want to play that stuff.
All right.
It's good I can listen. And I always enjoy, like the most intricate things we have. I rather lie on my bed or sit on my sofa and listen to it, rather than play it right then.
Okay.
Sometimes it's really relaxing. You can say, okay, I don't have to play it now.
Okay, yeah. But don't you think you could put out a hellish tour every couple of years, fill out huge places and just be happy with that?
Yeah, it's always like this, before you leave. What's really annoying is that check-in at an airport and the security check, and then you sit down and there's somebody who's farting constantly in front of you, or there's like a kid knocking your chair, from behind all the time, or making loud noise. And all that. That's really the annoying part. But then when you're on tour and you're in a different country and you've relaxed, you've slept a little bit, you get used to it. Then you're there, and once you're out, you say the impossible. You say, this could actually go on a little bit. I'm adjusted. I feel good, and that's strange how things can change.
But then again, from a creative perspective, or from a creative point of view, as I just mentioned, it's your hobby.
Yeah.
So the hobby thing is like when you're back home, you're taking up your guitar anyway. Sooner or later after a tour, it maybe takes 2 or 3 weeks, and then you say, where's my guitar? You know, then it starts again, and the hobbyist is back again. So you automatically have new ideas, and if you have new ideas, you want to put it on an album. If you're in a happy situation and there's still demand out there in the world to listen to new music from your side, then then go for it. I think that's very satisfying, and even gives you another reason to go again on a tour. I mean, I hear and I understand what people like Def Leppard want to say. From a certain status on, you don't necessarily need to put out new albums because you're having a more or less big name anyway in the world, so that would give you enough right and reason to go out there and do a tour and tour and tour after tour.
And all they ever needed was Pyromania anyway.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know. I mean, as long as you still have great ideas, you want to share it. We all know nowadays that putting out a new album is not, you can't make money with making new albums. I mean, actually each and every penny you get from the record company is spent on the production. If you're a metal band or rock band, funk band or whatever, people who really play music with their own instruments, a production is very expensive. You have to have a proper studio, proper people like producers, engineers who do the job. So there is no money in it for the band. It's being spent for the production anyway. But I would not like to miss it, like making new music, making new albums, and I don't know. Sooner or later, maybe people are sick of it and don't want to have new Helloween albums. Then we still probably go out there and play. But that's a luxury thing, actually. So we may choose.
All right. And well, having said all that, your previous album gave you the highest topping charts. Yeah. So I guess that was satisfying to see that people actually wanted new music out of Helloween rather than, you know.
There's still something going on in this genre of ours. There's still something to achieve. And there's always little bits and pieces of new influences that you can bring in. For us, definitely, as being around since 30 years, even we have such a big fundus where we can have like little bits and pieces, spices of all the 3 decades of metal, and that makes it interesting. Still, I mean, other bands probably don't have this versatility and that choosing from 30 years metal. And maybe for them, like Def Leppard, for example, I could see that it's a bit boring for them because they are stuck in that style. So I love Def Leppard, but when we talk about Def Leppard, it's only Pyromania, maybe Hysteria, and I can see that this is boring now.
Yeah, and the last few things were really fresh and good, you know, but they're stuck somewhere. I always wanted to be in a rock and roll band rather because it's easier, you know. But maybe they sense it different, and they say, like, you know, in the case of soil rock, you know, I'm glad I don't have to play the Helloween stuff.
All right.
We enjoy this. We are perverts.
So, where did you get the inspiration for this kind of album then, for this new stuff, all the new material?
Could be this weather, or the look at the skyscrapers over there, or whatever. You come to a country and you have a look at it, you know, if you have some free time. Whatever you do in your free time, usually you get a flash of an idea somehow.
All right. Yeah. Memories.
And as long as that works, you know, you have some material that you want to bring across.
Or you got stuck somewhere in South America.
Yeah.
And you do Lost in America.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to be, you know, out on the prowl a little bit, looking for what you could use for things. And then you have a list. I usually take like my iPhone here, and then I open the Notes app and I write down something which I will forget on the next day.
All right.
Then, you know, if I go have a look at the notes or the little bits I record on the audio player, if I can still make sense of it later on. But then now, meanwhile, I say what it's supposed to be. I say like, this is a bridge for a track or for a particular track or whatever. And then later on, you can take that and listen and try to remember and make something out of it.
Well, how many times, since you mentioned Lost in America, how many times a story like that happened to you in the band?
Luckily, not that many times, but often enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Often
Because-
enough to have at least one song on each and every album, which is more or less connected to good, bad, funny, stupid, or whatever memories. So, being on tour for a year and traveling the world, you may imagine there are so many impressions that there is always something to write about. At the end of the day, it's definitely easy to write about certain points of views or worldviews, or maybe just tell your very own opinion about a certain subject, which from country to country the news are changing anyway. So if we talk about, for example, if there is a crisis, war or whatever going on, it's very interesting to see how the next country you're visiting are reporting about it. The last country was like bitching about everything. The next country about the same subject is really cool about it.
Okay.
And so it's very strange to see how the politicians or the situation in that very country are changing the news. And for us, it's also very difficult to find the truth because it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm definitely, I think nobody is like a professional between the line readers.
All right.
But what we realize is it's so different sometimes, depending on which country you are.
And reality is being made.
Yeah, and reality is being made. So I see the urge to make my reality and tell the people what I've seen. This is sometimes probably closer to the truth than if you're living in a certain country.
Okay. There are a lot of song titles related to war on this album, at least on a metaphorical level, at least like My God-Given Right.
Well,
It's your time.
Yeah, but My God-Given Right is being taken completely differently.
Yes, I didn't mean it's a war to fight.
It's actually my father telling me, son, it's
okay.
your God-given right to do what you want with your life. That's my father. What you see on the cover now is an interpretation which goes completely away from the real meaning.
Okay.
It's another possible interpretation of the sentence, my God-given right. But actually, I don't want to have the idea of we go to war now because it's our God-given right. That's what I definitely don't want to express with that one. You know?
But why all these themes of war popping out in the song titles and song lyrics? Do you feel like you are at war with something or fighting
No,
for
it's like
something?
Sometimes you got to remind yourself and people of how quickly a situation can change. We are living in the civilized countries and usually there's order, right? But there's something going on in other places and that's really fierce and mean. And we're just trying to remind people about it, that's all, really.
Yeah, for example, we have this "You Still of War," but it's not.
Yep.
It's definitely not only about war. It's actually describing mankind and technique and technology. I think what Sasha wants to express in the song is mankind is always inventing technology he's not able to actually control. So the song is more or less about stupid mankind inventing technology just to make more money with it without asking if it's controllable. So it's not only about war, it's the technique. The problem is we progress only in war times. So the biggest inventions are made out of the urge, out of the pressure to build an even more brutal weapon. So that's when, for example, like the nuclear shit comes from. Now we have nuclear plants, just to mention this example, and you know what I mean then when you put it into other things. But we have companies who make billions and billions and billions with nuclear power plants, and actually the only guys who earn money are those blokes. Us, the people who use it, we just pay, and our kids and their kids, they pay the price at the end of the day, but not with money, but with life quality. We know we can't control it, but still it's going on and on and on. We should actually stop it now, but we cannot. That train is rolling and nobody is able to stop it. So you see how that train is like directly racing against that wall there. You know what will happen. It will crash, but you can't stop it. And this is also a subject which is in that title. It's called You Still of War, but actually that still of war is that silence that comes after it. You know? And maybe we are there to witness that silence, or maybe we are all be gone.
All right. Do you think your music, or music in general, can make a difference given the heavy subjects?
Well, we just suggest subjects, you know, and things and models of thinking and thoughts. That's all.
All right. And talking about music, since you were saying you draw inspiration from anything, I'm quite sure I heard the Tetris theme being played in Russian roulette. Is that right? So, where does that come from?
Well, not intentionally. I did not write it like in the Tetris style. It was like that. That's like, for example, God Give Rock and Roll. That would be, I think, more Tetris than in Russian roulette.
All right.
Got this. That is more. But maybe you're right. But I don't have this melody in my head from the Tetris times. It seems like very Russian to me.
Yeah, well.
Tetris, that might go. Okay.
I guess not that one.
No, it's mine.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess it's one of those times when you say it was subconscious because you've heard it.
I cannot speak myself free here because I used to play Tetris because maybe it's still there.
Yeah, me too.
So maybe you're right. Maybe maybe you're completely wrong. I mean,
all right. We'll have a ton of gamers trying out the album and saying, "Oh well, this sounds like Tetris."
All right.
Oh well, they are almost cutting us off. So I'm going to ask you not what you're going to have for lunch, which is the question they're going to ask you.
That would be something I'm very interested in.
Yes, bye-bye.
Okay. Oh well, soon you'll be answering this question to a proper waiter and you'll be served Italian dishes, whatever you want.
So you don't want to ask us what we want to have?
Well, what do you want for lunch then?
Next question. No, I have to see the menu. I don't know yet.
All right. So, well, thanks a lot for your time. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you live after the album comes out. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.